Airplane seat selection secrets. You've been there, wedged into a seat that won't recline, guarding your carry-on like a hawk because every bin around you is overflowing, counting down the minutes until you can finally stand. Meanwhile, a few rows up, someone drifts off with perfect legroom and easy access like they hacked the system. Here's the twist. There is a system, and when you learn how airlines assign, price, and nudge you into certain seats, you can flip the script and fly comfortably without paying business class money. In this video, you'll get a loop-by-loop playbook to avoid the worst rows, beat tricky boarding orders, and lock in the one-seat type that quietly wins most flights. Keep an ear out for two things: the two-line swap that turns a window or middle into your preferred aisle after boarding, and the exact moment in check-in when great seats quietly appear and disappear in seconds. Stick through to the end and I'll wrap it all into one clean strategy you can reuse on every route you fly. Picture boarding late and shuffling all the way to the back, where the cabin hum is loudest and the restroom traffic never stops. The problem is simple: those final seats often don't recline, they collect foot traffic and bumps, and you pay the same fare to sit there as someone who can lean back 3 rows forward. The action that fixes it is to avoid the literal last row, and if you must be near the rear, pick the aisle in the second to last row so you keep quick access without living next to the lav door. The resolution is fewer interruptions, a little more comfort, and the chance to stand first when the aisle opens. If you think the back row is bad, wait until you hear how extra legroom can quietly take away your bag space in the next loop. You step into an exit row feeling like you beat the system. There's the scene, all that knee room. But the problem lands once you sit. No underseat storage for your personal item, a colder wall near the door, and the small matter of you agreeing to help in an emergency. The action that avoids the trap is to weigh what you give up, bag at your feet instant access to meds or snacks, a warmer fuselage, against that stretch, especially if you board late when bins are already full. The resolution for many flights is skipping paid exit rows unless you board early and absolutely need the knee room, because a gate checking a bag can erase whatever time legroom saved you. If extra space can backfire, wait until you try a bulkhead where the tray and screen hide in the armrest and your elbows lose precious inches. You sit down at a bulkhead with nothing in front of you and think you've unlocked minimalist bliss. The problem reveals itself fast. Your tray lives in the armrest, your armrest doesn't lift. Your seat feels narrower and under-seat storage is gone, so your essentials ride overhead. The action is to choose bulkhead only when you're traveling truly light and value the legroom more than quick access to gear. Accepting that working on a laptop will feel like balancing on a TV dinner table. The resolution is a clean footwell and no one reclining into you, but it's a trade, not a free upgrade. If we're talking trade-offs, there's one seat nearly everyone hates that becomes powerful when you use it as bait for a smarter boarding move. You slide into the middle and instantly feel the squeeze. The problem is claustrophobia, armrest negotiation on both sides, and aisle access blocked by strangers, with airflow often feeling worse than either side. The action in most situations is avoid, but the exception is strategic. You can book a middle specifically to beat boarding orders that push aisle passengers on last, using it as a temporary ticket to early bin space. The resolution comes after takeoff when that middle transforms, via a polite swap, into the seat you actually wanted. That swap only works because of how some airlines board window middle aisle, a pattern you can turn to your advantage next. You board into a cabin organized by Wilma, windows first, then middles, then aisles, and the problem for aisle lovers is obvious. You walk on last, stare at full bins, and risk a gate check for the bag you plan to keep with you. The action's a bit cheeky, but completely polite. Book a window or middle to board early, place your bag overhead above your row, then use a two-line ask once everyone's seated. "Hey, I prefer the aisle. Would you like the window?" Which many travelers happily accept. The resolution is overhead space secured and the seat you wanted anyway, all without being pushy. Now that you can control boarding position, let's place you in the quiet sweet spot where turbulence, lines, and kid zone chaos drop off sharply. You step into a single aisle plane and scan the first dozen rows. The problem is picking a spot that balances fast deplaning, with fewer interruptions from families, galleys, and bathrooms. The action is to aim for the early teen single-digit rows, often about 6 to 9 on narrow bodies, close enough to exit quickly but far enough from first-row strollers and galley clang, ideally over or just behind the wing where motion feels calmer. The resolution is a ride that feels 80% premium at economy prices and a head start when the door opens. Sweet spots exist on wide bodies too, but there's one specific seat in the center section that quietly beats almost everything around it. You enter a twin-aisle jet and look past the windows to the center blocks. The problem with standard aisles is constantly hopping up for your seatmate, while windows trap you behind two people. The action is to claim a single center section aisle, one that borders the middle block, so you get aisle freedom without the excuse me parade, plus smoother service and airflow right where crews pivot. The resolution is fewer interruptions, faster exits, and less rocking, and if your airline runs Wilma, you're still in the aisle category without paying the usual aisle penalty. Securing this seat is a race, and that race starts right when the clock ticks to check-in. Set your alarm and be first through the digital door next. You're about to book, and the airline seat map looks invitingly green. The problem is those maps are marketing. They rarely warn you about misaligned windows, limited recline near galleys, or lav door slam zones. The action is to run your exact flight and aircraft through an independent seat map tool like Seat Guru, and then screenshot the seat map you pick. So if the airline swaps aircraft later, you have proof to request a comparable seat. The resolution is fewer gotchas, better placements, and leverage if ops change your ride. Intel is nothing without timing, and the best seats quietly surface in a tiny window, literally the first minute of check-in. You're watching the countdown to T24 hours, and your phone alarm chirps. The problem is that most travelers check in sometime today, while the best seats drop right at the opening bell and vanish in seconds. The action is to set multiple alarms, have your confirmation code pasted, be logged into the app, and hit refresh the second the window opens, with a bonus move of enrolling in the airline's free loyalty program for early access to preferred seats on some carriers. The resolution is grabbing center aisle gold, or upgrading from a middle to a prime aisle without paying more. And if you want to spend a little, there's a right moment to do it when prices soften and premium rows quietly go on sale. You're evaluating a 4 to 8 hour flight and imagining the aftermath. The problem is that a cramped seat can steal sleep and leave you sore for days, which costs more than the seat fee you avoided. The action is to check upgrade prices at booking and again inside the 24-hour window, because airlines often discount premium or prefer YOs late to fill them, turning a $70 seat into a $35 swing that pays for itself in recovery. The resolution is targeted spend only when it materially improves rest and posture, especially overnight or long daylight legs, while still leaning on your free tactics first. We've stacked tactics loop by loop. Now let's stitch them into one repeatable plan you can run in 5 minutes per flight. You open your booking app with a destination in mind. The problem is the maze of paid options, shifting aircraft, and boarding orders designed to upsell you into paying more for less. The action is this 5-step run. Before you buy, check the aircraft and run it through a trusted seat map tool, then target placements, rows 6 to 9 on narrow bodies or that single center aisle on wide bodies, and take a screenshot of your choice. After ticketing, set an alarm for T24 and be ready to pounce in the first minute of check-in to claim any newly released aisles and center aisles. If Wilma boarding will push you back, book a window or middle, board early to secure your bag overhead, and deploy the 2-line swap. I prefer the aisle, want the window? To land the seat you planned for. Finally, peek at upgrade prices at booking and again just before departure in case the airline quietly discounts premium seats. The resolution is simple, a comfortable flight that feels premium without paying a premium, repeatable on every trip. We opened with 2 promises. A way to sidestep boarding orders that punish aisle lovers, and a clean plan to lock the best seats without overpaying. You've got both now. The 2-line swap turns a window or middle into your aisle after your bag is safely overhead, and the 5-minute run blends seat map intel, sweet spot rows, the T24 grab, and smart last-minute upgrades into a routine you'll use on every flight. The next step is to test it on your very next booking. Screenshot your seat map as insurance and set that check-in alarm right now so you don't miss the first-minute drop. If this saved you from a back row purgatory or a cold exit row surprise, share your worst seat story below and tell me which loop fixed it. Then queue up the companion video on airport time savers so you can stack a smooth seat with a stress-free day from door to door.